Happy New Year, Frida. Frida Reba Darcy and Patricia O'Connor here. And today, it's New Year's. It's our Friday drop. It is New Year's Eve. Let's look and see how everybody is doing. Our Chinese wisteria is all but defoliated, as is our Trident maple. Our ponderosas are hanging out and enjoying life, as is our little Japanese black pines times 3. The fourth, bringing up the rear, we're overcoming a few issues. I hope she bounces back bigly in the upcoming year. The bald cypress, these guys are probably, as far as accomplishments go, about probably the biggest thing I've done to date. And I've really enjoyed them. They have been in that planter now just slightly over a year. They're leaders, as they are right now. We're all grown under the time that I've had in that year. I will probably cut the 2 back on the center tree between now and spring. No big rush to do that. What I want to do, there could be a couple of reasons to do that just off the, if you were to look at it and go, she probably wants to do that for this reverse taper here and here. No, that's not really the reason I'll chop it. Although that is a reason why I probably wouldn't chop it above that. We want to go down here so that we can, down here and down here, so that we can remake all of this energy again. Take all of this stuff up there, because after we take all of this stuff up, we will get the most healing out of everything below it, as all those waters and sugars and all that stuff works its way up the tree. Cutting these back and letting them come back while you're under development is the fastest way, I've been told, to heal these wounds. And I see that. We've got our couple of years ahead of us on that. But by the end of the year, I'm always able, the foliage that's on there is always so pretty and lacy that I'm always able to see the tree that I want they to be, kind of in my mind's eye. But I get a lot of help from these guys. They certainly do look the part. Also, this year, I remember asking the question out loud. I couldn't figure out why it was that you would see 200-300-year-old bald cypress trees growing in 30 foot of water, knowing that wasn't going to be a 6 or 7 month deal. They were well and truly growing in a river that was 30 feet deep. How would they ever have gotten started from seed or from cypress balls, as they're called? How would you ever start a seedling in something like that? I couldn't imagine. I said, well, maybe that was a bayou and they dredged it out and turned it into a river. That still didn't add up. It didn't make sense. And the Sabine River, where I would see this growing up primarily, that had always been a deep river, and those trees were growing at the, maybe 30 feet from the bank. But I just couldn't understand that. Nobody told me, but it occurred to me what was going on. For the same reason that the city of New Orleans sinks every year, because it was built on a several 100-million-year-old bog, which was leaf sediment for years and years and years on top of one another, sand and sediment mixed with that, and then all of a sudden trees sprout, and you've got what's called the tree island. And as soon as they grow up, they probably sink under their own weight, which would explain how those trees got so deep in the water. I'm not stating this as a newly learned fact. I'm saying I just figured out that might be what was going on, because I've seen trees that I knew that if you parked your boat underneath them and dropped the line, your line would reel out 40, 50 feet. And there's no way that was that had ever been above water in my lifetime. So what was going on there? Well, they probably sprouted on a little tree island that was not much more than just a pile of leaves and mud that had settled in amongst the leaves and helped little sproutings to start up when they floated over into it. And then once they started growing up and down at the same time and probably driving themselves into that soft earth below their roots. So I don't know. I'd asked the question. Nobody else had asked the question, and I figured out an answer, so I thought I would share the answer when I thought I figured it out, but I can't really state that as fact. Anyway, that was my little point of interest on cypress trees. We're going to be doing a lot more on cypress trees in the upcoming year. I will constantly keep us abreast on how these guys are doing, and I gotta say, this has been a good year for falling in love with things. We had our losses. I started this year losing my baby Rosie, who was my 15-year-old, going on 16-year-old at the time, pit bull Chihuahua. So by January 6th, she had passed away. By February, I had Frida. So Frida and I, we are just as thick as thieves, and I love her so much. Also, I'm sitting here framing up this Ponderosa pine because I can't stop looking at it. I have this year, since this time last year, fallen in love with Ponderosa pines. That might be like my niche. If I end up with a niche, that might be it. We've also acquired 3 more pines. The 3 pines that you see in the picture there, the 3 little Japanese black pines, all 3 of those were acquired this year, and all 3 of those came from Jonas at Bonsai Tonight. He is a black pine expert. I would recommend Bonsai Tonight and their little blog, because you can really learn a lot from them. I'm really excited about what this upcoming year will bring for my cork bark oak. In between now and this time last year, I've gotten a good sense of direction about where I finally was able to see it, kind of a mixture of learning a little bit and seeing how it performs under pruning and what happens if I do this. I've also seen enough of other people's trees to go, yeah, let's go this way. I'll probably change the angle on that tree drastically the next time it gets a repot, but that will be a couple of years from now, like maybe 6, because it was this time last year that I repotted it. It is an older cork bark oak, and you should probably repot those every 5 to 7. A younger cork bark oak you would do, I think, every 3 to 5. And that's probably about the same on these cypress trees. They will probably be in that huge grow tub bonsai, pre-bonsai grow pot, which is a mica pot that I got from Weingert's Bonsai out of Florida. It's where you get one place where you can get big, huge, enormous bonsai pots if you ever find that you need one. They also sell cypress trees. Also, John Gene Angel, I believe, sells courses and cypress trees. So, yeah, I can't wait to see how our year goes and how this tree goes. And I'm really looking forward to my YouTube program growing throughout the next year. I expected things would maybe get a little slower in the winter, but I didn't really know what to expect, because this time last year I was dropping maybe 1 video a month and driving Lyft and just kind of getting into bonsai again after, well, I had been in it for a couple of months by this point, but it had been a long time. And the year before that, I had been decorating this apartment. This time 2 years ago, I didn't have a single bonsai tree and was decorating my apartment. By that summer, I was well and truly hooked and had started my little wisteria projects. So last year, it was probably a month or two from now that I turned it up a notch, as they say, on the balcony and started doing more shows. And since then, we have grown exponentially. Not the fastest, not the slowest, just the right amount of speed. I know I'm not exactly killing it as far as production values. We will constantly get better as it's easier to do so. When I have important things to say, I'm still able to say them. When I have important things to show, I'm still able to show them. I do like to keep a certain amount of professionalism up, but I'm also trying not to sweat it and burn out on it. So I can definitely tell that my little dog and pony show has improved somewhat over the year. Our numbers have improved, our watch time has improved. The amount of time I spend with my finger in the lens is a lot less. And yeah, I've kind of learned a lot over the last year. I've learned a lot about bonsai. I've learned a lot about conserving the energy that I have in my trees. And I've started to get a better idea about what it is that I like. Yeah, that's something. Whenever you start learning what it is that really floats your boat, it's like your first couple of months in bonsai. I think to some extent, sometimes maybe we're attracted to all the wrong things, or we see something and go, oh, that could be a bonsai tree. And then once we've got it home, and maybe we've killed it or haven't killed it, we learn all the things that are really wrong with it and go, yeah, well, we don't have to show that to everybody, but yeah, that's how we got. That's still important. That's what got you here. That's what brought you to where you are now. And wherever that is, I'm sure it's a pretty good place. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to continue to do good things. I see more ponderosa pod in my future. Yeah, we joined the club this year, so there's a lots to learn there. I also joined a couple of I joined a online school, and I'm looking to probably increase my involvement with that and do more of it. So yeah, I look forward to it. So basically, this is the year where I'm going to turn everything up a little more. More trees, more growing space, more knowledge about ourselves and what works for us and what doesn't, and more people to share it with. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Frida and I so appreciate you and look forward to our next year on the Bonsai Balcony.